Hey, it's Jen. I'm here today with the Netflix book tag. I was tagged by Hannah from HannahBooks and Other Things. I will link her YouTube channel and video that she did down below. This tag was originally made by A Darker Shade of Whitney, and I will also link her YouTube channel and video down below. I'm gonna apologize for the weird lighting. I've got my window over there, and I tried to open the blinds or close them evenly, but I've also got my drawers that are cutting the light off, so I've got this weird rectangular area of light down here. Now, the first part of the Netflix book tag is recently watched, the last book you finished reading. That for me was The Book Jumper by Metro Glacier. She's a German writer, and so I probably butchered her name, but this book is about this girl named Amy who travels with her mom to Scotland, and she discovers that she is a book jumper, which means that she can physically go into different books and interact with the characters and plots. This was a very interesting book. It wasn't executed very well. I gave it 2 stars on Goodreads, but the idea was very interesting. The next question is top picks. That is a book that you've had recommended to you based on what you've previously read. I went on Goodreads and I was recommended Wild Awake by Hilary T. Smith. I'll put the image right here. I have never heard of this book, but it's a contemporary YA, and I can't remember right off what the blurb said because I recently read a lot of blurbs, but it sounded very interesting. So might get that from my library or get it as an ebook soon. The next is recently added. That's the most recent book you've bought. Now, I recently made a purchase of 6 books from Thrift Books online, but I'll talk about the one that came the most recently that got delivered to my house. That is Grammar Snobs or Big Meanies, A Guide to Language for Fun and Spite by June Casagrande. I saw this at Barnes & Noble. It was like $14, but I got it for about $4 on Thrift Books, so definitely recommend that. This is kind of like the only grammar book you'll ever need, except it has a lot of humor, and it looked overall easier for me to digest. I just changed angles to hopefully get more light on my face because the sun is setting. It is 6:15 when I'm filming this. The next question is popular Netflix books that everyone knows about, one that you've read, one that you either haven't read or you're not interested in reading. The first one that I have read that everyone knows about is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Now, since everyone knows about it, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's basically about these 6 outcasts who go on an impossible heist to retrieve something. This was very interesting. I love the characters. I loved Leigh Bardugo's writing. I gave it 4 stars out of 5 on Goodreads. And the book that I have not read yet, that I am very interested in reading, and it's on my summer TBR, is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Now, I don't know much about this book. I know it's YA fantasy, and that takes place in Africa somewhere, I believe. And I love the cover. The back says, "They killed my mother, they took her magic, they tried to bury us, now we rise." And I've heard a lot of positive feedback on this book, and I know the author's been compared to J.K. Rowling, and I just am so excited to read this. The next question is Comedies, a book that made you laugh, and that for me is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Now, I also loved the movie. It was quite hilarious, but when I read the book, I was physically laughing and crying, and Simon is such a quirky character, and Becky Albertalli definitely knows how a teenager thinks nowadays, and the thought process and our opinions on certain things, so I definitely recommend this if you haven't already read it. The next one is Dramas, a character who's a drama queen or king. Now, I couldn't find my copy of City of Glass, whatever the first book is called in Mortal Instruments. I might have gotten rid of it or just lost it among the other books on my bookshelves, but for me, the character that is a drama queen or king is definitely Jace. He just is very dramatic. He reacts to a lot of things, sometimes more than I think is necessary. He's funny in kind of an annoying way, and lovable and obnoxious at the same time. The next one is Animated, a book with cartoons on the cover. I'm not really a manga person, or graphic novel person, so I had a hard time with this question, but the one I got was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. The reason this is so big is because it's all 5 of the Hitchhiker's Guide books in one, and I've only read the first book so far. This is the cover. It has a little green dude. I forgot the character's name, but this is the closest I could find. And I know that this was made into a movie. I don't know if it was live action, animated, or a combination. The next is Watch It Again, a book or book series that you want to reread, and this is going to be quite obvious, but that for me is Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. I started rereading this one, and I lost my place. The bookmark fell out, which is unfortunate. I first read this series when I was in middle school and junior high, and I read the whole thing in like 2 months, and at the time it was just another series because I was kind of reclaiming my title as a book nerd, and so I was just reading as much as I could, and I wasn't really appreciating how much effort went into it that JK, but I definitely want to go back and reread it so that I can kind of see what areas JK had to focus more on and all the effort and time that went into the book. And you might have noticed someone has suddenly appeared on my arms. That's because my mom just came in and delivered her to me. This is my cat, Alicia. Her birthday is actually next month. She'll be turning 11, and it is about half hour away from the time where she gets her evening wet food, and so she's kind of trying to escape right now. But yeah, say hi to the people, Alicia! We need more pets on BookTube. The next question is Documentaries, a non-fiction book you recommend that everyone read, and I would say Persepolis. I can't remember the author's first name, but her last name is Satrapi, and it's about this, oh god, I can't remember which country, this Middle Eastern girl who had to flee to Paris to avoid terrorism, the civil terrorism that was happening. I had to read it in my creative writing class in my senior year, I believe. It was very interesting. We also watched the movie. I definitely recommend it. The next one is Action and Adventure, an action-packed book. That for me is Skullduggery Pleasant by Derek Landy. I was introduced to this book when I was in 5th grade, but I didn't read it until I was in probably 7th or 8th grade. This is a series that has, oh dear, probably 9 books, I believe. This is about a skeletal detective named Skullduggery Pleasant who, and this girl named Stephanie, and the book opens and Stephanie's uncle has just died, and she's at the, not the funeral, but when, like, the will's read, and so she gets, certain objects that were left to her, and she meets Skullduggery Pleasant, and events happen, and she discovers his true occupation and his true being, and she becomes kind of his real protege, and it's really good. It's so good. It's an Irish author, and I love it. Definitely top 3 series. The next to last question is new releases, a book that has just recently come out or that it will be coming out soon that you really are dying to get your hands onto. That for me is The World of Lore, Wicked Mortals by Eric Mankey. Now this guy is the creator of the Lore podcast, which if you haven't listened to, I'd highly recommend it. It's about 100% real scary events that have happened to people. Again, my creative writing teacher introduced it to me when I was a junior in high school, but he's published a couple books, a couple of his own novels, and then a few books that are companions to the Lore podcast. And the second one, I believe the second one, is actually coming out today, and so I'm probably going to head to Barnes & Noble. Hopefully I will have by the time I upload this to get the book, because he's also coming to Barnes & Noble where I live in a couple of days, and so I'm hopefully going to get him to sign that for me. I'm going to tag 5 people, but if I don't tag you specifically, please do it. The more booktubers we have doing tags, the more fun and connected the booktube community is. But I tag Jessie at Jessie the Reader, Haley at Haley at Bookland, Spencer at Common Spence, Emma at Emma Books, and Jess at Jess's Lit Life. I will put all their links down there. I highly recommend every single one of them. If you like this video, hit thumbs up, subscribe for more bookish, writerly, activism, songs, random stuff that I sometimes upload. I have all my social media down there, including Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, my Spotify account where I will create playlists for different books I'm writing, Twitter, whatever else I forgot to mention. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.